There are some moments in life that divide your entire existence into two parts, the before and the after. The person you were before that moment and the completely different person you became after. This is one of those stories. A woman sat quietly on a hospital bed, her legs crossed beneath her hands resting on her lap. She was already dressed in her hospital gown, that thin, pale blue material that made everyone look fragile, vulnerable, like they had no control over what was about to happen to them. The room smelled of antiseptic and silence. You know that hospital smell, Abby? That sharp, clean scent that enters your nose and reminds you that this is a serious place. A place where life and death dance together every single day. She kept glancing at the clock on the wall. The second hand moved slowly, almost mockingly. Tick, tick, tick. In just 30 minutes, she would be wheeled into the operating theater to give up one of her kidneys. Not to a stranger who desperately needed help, not to a distant relative she barely knew, but to her husband. The man she had shared her bed with for 8 years. The man whose children she carried in her womb and brought into this world. The father of her 2 beautiful children. She sat there, staring at the white wall in front of her, whispering prayers under her breath. Her lips moved rapidly, quietly, like someone bargaining with God. She wasn't praying for the surgery to go well. No, she was praying for something deeper, something that showed just how much fear was buried in her heart. She was asking God to protect her children if anything went wrong, if she didn't wake up from that theater, if the surgery took a turn she couldn't control. She wanted to be sure that her son and daughter would be okay, that they would grow up well, that they would not suffer. That's the kind of woman she was. Even in her most vulnerable moment, she was thinking about everyone else but herself. Then suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was sitting on the small table beside her bed, next to a bottle of water and a Bible she had brought from home. The screen lit up. One message. Just one single message. She reached for it slowly, not thinking much of it. Maybe it was her sister. Maybe it was one of the church members sending encouragement. Maybe it was a prayer message forwarded from a WhatsApp group. But when she opened that message and read the words staring back at her, everything she believed, everything she had built her life on, everything she thought was real, shattered. Right there, in that quiet hospital room, 30 minutes before she was supposed to give her kidney to the man she loved. This is the story of Madame Sandra. Sandra was married to Mr. Emmanuel. They had been married for 8 years. 8 good years, or so it seemed. 8 years of building a life together, brick by brick. They had 2 children, a boy and a girl. The kind of children that made you smile when you saw them. Well-behaved, respectful, always clean and neat. They were the kind of families people admired from afar. You know those families that when you see them in church, you say, this one, God don't bless them well. That was them. They went to church together every Sunday without fail. Emmanuel would wear his well-ironed native attire. Sandra would tie her gele perfectly, and the children would walk beside them, holding their hands. They attended wedding ceremonies together, naming ceremonies, birthday parties, owambe. They were always together, always smiling, always looking like the perfect example of what marriage should be. They even went on family vacations, not just to the village for Christmas, real vacations, to places like Ubudu Cattle Ranch, Calabar, Yankari. They took pictures and posted them online. People would comment, "Goals, this is what I want. May God bless my marriage like this." From the outside, they looked perfect, like a Nollywood movie with a happy ending already written. Sandra believed with every fiber of her being that she had married the love of her life. She would tell her friends,
I'm so blessed. Emmanuel is a good man. He takes care of us. He loves his children. I thank God every day.
What she didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that while she was on her knees praying for her marriage to remain strong, someone else was on her back, planning her destruction, quietly, patiently, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. It all started quietly. You see, the devil doesn't always come with noise. Sometimes he comes with a smile and a long time no see. On one of Emmanuel's business trips, he was always traveling for business, buying goods, meeting suppliers, attending conferences. He ran into someone from his past, someone he thought he would never see again, his ex-girlfriend. Her name was Precious. And oh, Precious was beautiful. The kind of beauty that made men forget their home training. She was curvy in all the right places. Her skin was smooth like shea butter. Her smile was bright and confident. The kind of woman that turned heads when she walked into a room. The kind that made other women side-eye their husbands and say, "What are you looking at?" They had dated years ago, back in their university days. It was serious then. They talked about marriage, they made plans. But after NYSC, life happened. He got posted to one state, she got posted to another. Communication became harder. Calls reduced, visits stopped. And eventually, they just drifted apart. Or so Sandra thought. Or so everyone thought. That chance meeting at a hotel lobby in Abuja reopened doors that should have remained closed, locked and buried. After the initial excitement,
Precious, is this you?
Emmanuel, wow, you haven't changed.
came the exchange of phone numbers. After phone numbers came the first call. Let's catch up properly. I'm in town for a few days. After calls came secret meetings, lunch, dinner, drinks, laughter. And soon, they were not just catching up. They were traveling together, laughing together, sharing hotel rooms, living a second life that nobody else knew about. A life that had no space for Sandra or the children. Precious was happy. She had always wondered what happened to Emmanuel. Now, here he was, still handsome, now more successful, and clearly still attracted to her. And Emmanuel, he was satisfied, completely satisfied. He was cheating on his wife without remorse, without guilt, without losing sleep. He told himself lies like,
Sandra will never find out. I'm still taking care of my home, so what's the problem?
sometimes, when they were lying in bed together after their secret meetings, Precious would tease him. She would trace her fingers on his chest and say,
You know, if not that we lost contact after NYSC, I should be your wife by now. Not that Sandra.
and Emmanuel, he never denied it. He would smile, nod, sometimes even agree out loud.
You're right. Maybe that's what was supposed to happen.
Because deep down, in the darkest corner of his heart, he believed it. He believed Precious was the one that got away. And now that he had found her again, he didn't want to let go. As the affair grew stronger, hotter, more reckless, Emmanuel's marriage began to suffer. But not in the way you might think. Sandra didn't notice another woman's perfume. She didn't find lipstick stains or suspicious messages. No, the destruction was quieter than that. Family outings stopped. The trips to the park on Saturday afternoons, gone. The Sunday afternoon walks after church, gone. The family movie nights where they would all gather in the living room with popcorn and laugh together, gone. Vacations ended. No more planning trips, no more let's take the children somewhere nice for the holiday, nothing. Excuses became frequent. Emmanuel was always busy, always tired, always traveling, always on a phone call, always in a meeting. Every time Sandra asked questions,
Darling, is everything okay? You've been so distant lately. Are you stressed? Is business not going well?
Emmanuel had answers ready, prepared answers, smooth answers, lies dressed up as truth.
Business is not going well, baby. You know how this country is. Economy is hard. I'm just trying to make sure we don't lack. I need to travel more. I have to meet these suppliers face to face if I want to close better deals. I'm trying to get more clients, Sandra. I'm doing this for us, for you and the children.
And Sandra, she believed him. Every single word. Not only did she believe him, she defended him. When her mother would call and say,
Sandra, that your husband is always traveling. I hope all is well.
Sandra would reply.
Mommy, he's working hard for us. Leave him alone.
When her friends would hint,
Your husband is always away, Sha. You're not worried.
Sandra would smile and say,
Worried about what? He's a hardworking man. That's why God blessed me with him.
she would gather her children every evening before bed and say,
Come, let's pray for Daddy. Let's ask God to make his business better. Everything will be fine soon.
She increased her prayers. She fasted on Wednesdays and Fridays. She joined the prayer warriors group in church. She sowed seeds. She gave offerings. She worked harder in church, believing that if she did more for God, God would fix what she thought was only financial stress at home. But while she prayed in the midnight, calling on angels and principalities, her husband was mocking her prayers with his side chick. He would laugh with precious over drinks and say,
My wife is busy praying for me. She's so foolish. She thinks I'm struggling. She doesn't know I'm just enjoying myself.
They laughed, they toasted glasses, they enjoyed themselves at Sandra's expense. Then one day, everything changed. It was a regular Tuesday evening. Sandra had just finished cooking jollof rice and fried chicken for dinner. The children were in the living room watching cartoons. Emmanuel had come home earlier than usual, and Sandra was happy. She thought maybe finally things were getting better. Then suddenly, she heard a loud thud from the bedroom. She ran, her heart pounding. When she got there, Emmanuel was on the floor, unconscious, his body limp.
Emmanuel!
She
Emmanuel!
screamed. She shook him, no response. She called the neighbors. They rushed him to the hospital. The 30 minutes drive felt like 30 hours. At the hospital, they ran tests. So many tests, blood tests, urine tests, scans, everything. After what felt like forever, the doctor came out. His face was serious.
Mrs. Emmanuel, your husband's kidneys have failed. Both of them. He needs a transplant urgently. Within few months, if we don't find a donor, he will die.
Sandra felt the ground disappear beneath her feet. The family was devastated. His parents came, her parents came, they all gathered, crying, praying, hoping. They tested everyone who was willing. Emmanuel's father, his mother, his brothers, cousins, relatives from the village, no match. Finally, they tested Sandra. And the results came back. Perfect match. When Emmanuel heard it, he broke down and cried like a baby. Right there in that hospital bed, tears streaming down his face. He held Sandra's hand and begged her.
Sandra, please, please help me. I don't want to die. Please, I'm begging you.
And Sandra, without a single second of hesitation, looked at him and said,
You.
I will do it.
She told him she couldn't watch the father of her children die when she had the power to save him. Emmanuel cried even harder. He promised her heaven and earth.
I will buy you a new car. The latest. Any car you want. We will travel anywhere you want. London, Dubai, America, anywhere. I will love you forever. You are my angel, my savior.
He held her hands tightly and called her his angel, his everything, his life. Sandra believed him. She smiled through her tears and said,
It's okay. I will do it for you. For us. For our children.
But here's what Sandra didn't know. While Emmanuel was begging his wife, holding her hands, crying, calling her an angel, he was making completely different promises to another woman. He told Precious, through secret voice notes and late-night calls from the hospital bathroom,
Don't worry. Once I recover, I will divorce her. I just need this kidney first. After that, she's useless to me. A woman with one kidney is a liability. I can't stay with her. I'll marry you, I promise.
He told her Sandra was only useful now because of her kidney, that he needed to pretend, he needed to be sweet, he needed to act like the loving husband so she wouldn't change her mind. And Precious, she agreed. She said,
Okay, baby. Do what you have to do. I'll be waiting.
2 weeks passed. And suddenly, Emmanuel became the perfect husband again. Sweet good morning messages, good morning my queen, I love you, gentle words throughout the day. Have you eaten? Don't stress yourself too much. Promises of a better future.
After this surgery, everything will change. I will treat you like the queen you are.
Sandra noticed the change. Of course she did. It was impossible not to. But instead of being suspicious, she smiled. She thought to herself,
Maybe this sickness is a blessing in disguise. Maybe it has brought us closer. Maybe God is using this to restore my marriage.
She didn't know she was walking straight into a trap. The surgery date was finally fixed. That morning, the hospital was busy. Nurses moving quickly, doctors preparing. Everything was set. They came to Emmanuel's room first. They gave him a mild sedative to calm him down before the procedure. He became drowsy. his eyes half closed, his speech slow. Before sleeping completely, he mumbled, his words slurred.
Babe, my phone switched off, battery dying.
Sandra picked up the phone from the bedside table. She was about to press the power button, but just as her finger hovered over the screen, a WhatsApp message popped up from a contact saved as accountant. It read, "Baby, has the fool gone into the theater yet? I can't wait for this to be over. Once you get the kidney, we are done with her." Sandra froze. Her heart stopped. Her breath caught in her throat.
Accountant?
She whispered to herself.
Why would an accountant call me a fool?
Her hands began to shake. Her fingers trembled as she tried to unlock the phone. The password had been changed. But then she remembered. Her fingerprint. He never removed it. The phone unlocked. She opened the chat, and what she saw broke her. It wasn't an accountant. It was Precious. And the messages told her everything. How Emmanuel told Precious she was a perfect match. How he said he would have spent millions buying a kidney from India if not for her. How he planned to divorce her immediately after recovery. How he said, "A woman with one kidney is damaged goods. I can't stay with her. I'll just take what I need and move on." How he called her stupid in love. How he laughed at her prayers. Sandra stood there, phone in hand, staring at the man sleeping peacefully on the bed. The man she prayed for, the man she cooked for, the man she sacrificed for. He didn't see her as a wife. He saw her as a spare parts shop, a body to harvest, a sacrifice to discard. The door opened. It was the surgeon, in his blue scrubs, mask hanging around his neck. He smiled gently and asked,
Madam, are you ready?
Sandra looked at him. She looked at her husband, still sleeping, still peaceful, still completely unaware. She looked at the phone in her hand, and for the first time in her entire life, she chose herself. She took a deep breath and said calmly,
Doctor, I need time. I'm not ready.
The surgeon was confused.
Madam, we are already prepared. Theater is ready. Your husband is sedated. Is everything okay?
Sandra's voice was steady.
I said I need time.
The surgery was cancelled. Sandra did not shout. She did not scream. She did not break down crying in that hospital corridor. She simply chose herself. She walked out of that hospital room with her head high, her dignity intact, and her kidney still in her body where it belonged. Days later, when Emmanuel was strong enough to sit up and talk properly, Sandra walked into his room. She didn't cry. She didn't beg for explanations. She simply placed his phone on the bed in front of him and showed him the messages. Every single one. For the first time since Sandra met Emmanuel, he had no words, no smooth explanations, no believable lies, no crocodile tears that could save him. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. Sandra spoke calmly.
I will not be donating my kidney to you.
She informed the doctors immediately. Her name was removed from the donor list. Emmanuel was furious. When he finally found his voice, he shouted. He blamed her.
You want me to die? After everything I've done for you, you're wicked, heartless.
No.
But Sandra had already made peace with her decision. She filed for divorce quietly. No noise, no drama. She sold the house they lived in together, the one she helped furnish, the one she turned into a home. She sold the 2 cars Emmanuel had once bought proudly, claiming he was doing well. She gathered every kobo from those sales, added it to the savings she had quietly built over the years, money she never thought she would need for survival. And with her 2 children holding her hands, she relocated. Far away from that man, far away from that life. No noise, no announcement, no long social media post. Just a mother choosing life for herself and her children. Weeks passed. Emmanuel was still in the hospital, still searching for another donor, still weak, still waiting. And Precious, the woman who sent that message, the woman who called Sandra a fool, she disappeared the moment things became truly difficult, the moment Emmanuel could no longer afford expensive hotels and trips, gone, like she was never there. And Sandra? Sandra rebuilt her life, healthy, whole, with both kidneys intact, independent.
She started a small business. She enrolled her children in a good school. She began to smile again. She became stronger than the woman who once believed that love meant sacrificing yourself at all costs. She learned that you cannot pour from an empty cup, that you cannot save someone who is determined to destroy you, and that sometimes the greatest act of love is loving yourself enough to walk away.